we want to get started this morning with the presentation of the interbanking system initiative. You know that these are future. This is not present, this is future. And anybody who does not plan for future is not wise. Somebody, I just said something. Anybody who does not plan for future is not wise. I just said something. Anybody who does not plan for future is not wise. And it was the late Anderson Todd, which I quoted him more than once. He says that there are two things that you just don't want to catch up with you at one time: old age and no money. And the institutions should never allow themselves to not progress to an understanding of what your future can look like. I am so pleased. Why don't y'all come to the center over here, if you would, so they can see you all. Is there a microphone over here? There's one on the podium as well. Reverend microphone over here. Yes, there it is. He's hogging on the microphone as if I asked him to do something else.
Your man went pink.
I love Reverend David. I do. I love Reverend David. Picks on me all the time, and the only time I get a chance to fight back is when you're in the room. Because he talks about my clothing, he talks about my crime, he talks about everything. And while I'm on that, he just had a wonderful discovery of America's celebration just a few days ago. In America, a few days ago, 3 days ago, there was something that happened, and that was Reverend Hayward discovered America. And he celebrated his 22nd birthday 5 times. Also, put your hands together for Dr. Hayward. All right, happy birthday, sir. All right. This is Dr. Jonathan Weaver, who heads up the committee leadership in bringing us to the point that we are right now. Give them a hand.
Thank you, Bishop, to our Episcopal supervisor, to all of you assembled for this planning meeting. I'm so delighted that I'm surrounded by this extremely competent committee that the Bishop has pulled together a little over a year ago. And I'm going to ask that 2 of our representatives, Reverend Kimberly Richardson and Reverend Chanel White, will come and read our portion of the report. I believe we also have a PowerPoint that should be coming up as well. And let me say, Bishop, and to everyone, that of course every annual conference is represented through this interbanking committee initiative.
Before she comes, it's just an assumption on my part that everybody knows where we are. We went through the series of annual conferences speaking of this new initiative for the 2nd Episcopal District. How many of you have heard it before? Maybe what I should be saying, how many of you have not heard about it before? That's wonderful. So we can proceed as if everybody has at least a basic understanding.
Thank you, Bishop. And Bishop, we also have a handout, of course, a presentation. And so, Bishop, would you want some marshals to help us in that regard?
And the young man, Mike, and everybody who's young, all the young people, please. I see some people who are wishing. But that's good. You're young as long as you think you are. Unless you have back problems or hip problems, then you can't think too well then. May I? Thank you. Thank you, sir.
And Bishop, and to everyone assembled, this committee has been working extremely hard. We provided some very detailed information for you. Much of it is in a proposed form, but I'll come back and share with you the fact that we're looking, Bishop, to make sure that before you leave, that this becomes operational. And I just wanted to share that as a context, all right?
Did all of you hear that when you were waiting on the paper? I think you better hold that thought until they get the paper. You know how paper disturbs us. You know, hold it until we get that paper in our hands and then repeat it. You know. All right, I think they have enough for you to just take a few and pass down the aisle so we can make this thing move a lot faster. All right, are we ready? Repeat your statement, Dr. Weaver, so that we...
There's a lot of detailed information that you'll find in that presentation. You don't need to necessarily read every word right now, because the committee will be providing you with a detailed summary. And at the same time, what we want you to know is that before our visionary leader leaves the 2nd Episcopal District, we're going to make sure, as much as God allows us, to make sure that this is operational before he leaves. We want to make sure that we are having a launching of this interbanking initiative before he leaves to go to the General Conference.
To Bishop James L. Davis, Mother Aurelis B. Davis, presiding elders, district leadership, pastors, clergy, and laity of the 2nd Episcopal District, we are grateful for the opportunity to serve as the SCD Inter-District Banking Committee, helping to provide loans to congregations within the 2nd Episcopal District. We are humbled and honored to make this report here at the planning meeting. During the series of annual conferences under the leadership of our visionary, Servant Bishop, Bishop Davis, the SCD Interbanking District Committee presented the concept of an interbanking system as many churches have faced financial challenges. To build a reservoir of available funds, clergy and lay members were encouraged to invest $100 into this initiative. This investment, along with the proceeds of ongoing sales of abandoned SCD properties, and the redirection of the Nehemiah Fund for 2 years would be available funds that will be utilized to begin the loan process. With the generous donations received from all 5 annual conferences, we have raised $46,751.98 to begin reviewing loan applications soon. The Inter-District Banking Committee has developed a framework that includes the product, process, and people that would encompass the request for a loan. Furthermore, the Inter-District Banking Committee has retained legal counsel and is in the process of creating a separate corporate entity for this initiative. Reverend Richardson will provide you with some more details.
Thank you. You can get the next slide, please. The Interbanking Initiative, the Inter-District Banking Initiative, was introduced during the annual conference series. However, we want to take a moment to recap our mission, vision, and challenge to the district. Thank you. Our mission is to provide loans to congregations within the 2nd District. Our vision is to renew the spirit of the village, engage annual conference as partners, explore how initiatives can help fund the mission, and empower congregations to help shape their future through innovation and technology. Our challenge, to harness the collective power and synergy of 376 congregations across 96 counties and in 3 states in the District of Columbia that comprise the 5 conferences of the 2nd Episcopal District to transform the district and possibly the entire AOE Church. As stated earlier, we raised the amount listed on our screen, and under the leadership of our visionary servant leader, Bishop Davis, we have been able to create a framework for this initiative. With the collaborative efforts of our members of the annual conference, who invested in this initiative, and with the district's support to redirect the Nehemiah funds for 2 years, as well as earmark proceeds from abandoned property sales. The funds are currently housed in a separate account that was opened by our 2nd District Treasurer, Reverend Dr. Renita Bright. Thank you, 2nd District, for your generous support. Our roadmap. The roadmap includes the product, which is the terms and the conditions of the loan, and you will find additional details in the report before you. Within this report, there are details on how the process should work, which includes the loan's application and the review process. An electronic application link has been provided, as well as the steps of the process. Some of these steps are included, but not limited to underwriting, approval notification, disbursement of funds, and the payment schedule. The report provides the total loan process and the responsible parties that will be conducting the review. Lastly, you may ask what individuals may be involved. As stated earlier, the Interdistrict Banking Committee is in the process of creating a separate corporate entity. The officers, terms of service, and the draft of the bylaws have been established. Specific roles and assignments of the corporation have been outlined within your report for your review. The next slide provides a brief timeline, and this is projected, of how the process will look. It will start off with the application process, the administrative process, which is reviewing the loan application and the necessary documents, followed by the distribution of funds, as well as the document review. Again, this is a projected timeline. The actual time that it takes for loan approval is contingent upon a completed application and the time needed to review. This concludes our report. We will now open it up for any questions you may have.
And before we take any questions from the group here this morning, let me just mention, as you noted from that timeline, this came initially from our bishop, our leader, and there were 2 words that stuck out in my mind, either a phrase or a word. One is the fact that we needed to be a model of self-help. And also economic empowerment. His concern was, in fact, knowing that there were a number of churches throughout the 2nd Episcopal District who were extremely limited or, in fact, declined from securing a loan from a traditional financial institution. His concern, therefore, was to try to find a way where we could begin to loan money, if you will, within-house, within our own framework. And Bishop, I must say, again, this is just another wonderful example of the kind of visionary leadership he brought to the 2nd Episcopal District. His role in the 8 years that he's been with us is to be a person that's projecting this district to go even further in its empowerment of people, being concerned about the local churches, particularly those that have been challenged economically. And so we want to thank God right now for Bishop James Levert Davis and the kind of leadership he provides to this effort. Let me also say that we heard clearly the importance of making sure that the structure that's created is going to be in the best interest of the members of the 2nd Episcopal District. And so with that in mind, what we're going to be doing very, very shortly, probably in a matter of maybe a week or 2, is this whole initiative will come under the structure for the time being of our Community Development Corporation. Some of you may know that, of course, the Community Development Corporation led the way towards the acquisition of the building that we own completely now within the 2nd Episcopal District because of your support and because we put our trust in the leadership to make that happen. And so what we're doing as the Interbanking Initiative Committee is indeed working already in cooperation with Reverend Loxley O'Connor and the members of the Community Development Corporation with the agreement of the bishop that this initiative now will come under the legal framework which already has guardrails and the trust of the 2nd Episcopal District to make this manage and go forward. Bishop, we pray that this initiative will in fact stand the test of time and will be something where your legacy is seen generations from now and the impact that it's going to have. We believe that's going to happen for churches within the 2nd Episcopal District and ultimately throughout the connectional church. And so we ought to celebrate right now this leader for what he has done to get us to this point of empowering us economically and the blessing that will occur for the churches within the 2nd Episcopal District, where they don't have to worry about trying to go to some traditional financial institution. They can stay in-house. That ends our report, Bishop.
I just want to thank all of these persons. All of them come to the table with a background in dealing with money, a background in dealing with organizational structure, a background in dealing with finessing how things are done in corporate America. And so would you please thank them with me for what their leadership has brought about in this country. You have heard a couple of three things. One, that they are proposing that because you already have a structure in place that is trusted and proven, that for a period of time, until this can be rolled into another structure that is equally as trusted and proven, that it goes under the direction of the corporate board of the CDC. That does not mean that the CDC has the authority to change the purpose for which this baby is being born. That the purpose still always must be seen and adhered to. I hope that that's implicit in your directions here. And then the only other thing is you should be congratulated for raising nearly $50,000, and we're going to make sure that it gets to $50,000 before we leave here. Come on, you can do better than that. I mean, you're pennies of the difference. And not everybody raised, but there are people who sit around and talk about why things won't work. You know that I see them and I feel so sorry for them. That's their whole purpose in life, to tell you why it won't work. Well, you have a better idea? No, but that won't work. And then there are some people who are risk takers after you've done due diligence and move ahead with a dream. And God blesses the dream and the labor of your hands. And I thank God for you who if you didn't have $100, you gave $2. I thank God for you who believe that there is a tomorrow, even though you may not be here tomorrow, you got to plan for tomorrow for your children. And I'm so grateful for each of you and for what you have already done. So give yourselves a hand for the nearly $50,000 that you've already raised. It won't happen overnight. And nobody should think that they're going to be able to call next week or week after next or next month saying I need $25,000. Don't even think that. But it will happen if you're consistent and faithful to what you say that you're going to do. The other part of that is that I think that we, in the presentation that was made, it was the revenues from the abandoned property sales, I think that we need to be clear in saying the net of the abandoned property sales, because all of these conferences have other obligations, and certainly we have gone through that with one of the conferences that wanted to make sure that that was done. So it's the net of the profit sale, of the property sales. And if there's no bill attached to it, then the net is the whole thing. But certainly the net of the property sales need to be clear. What is your pleasure now as it relates to the report of the interbanking system and the recommendations that have been made? Yes, ma'am. And approve that moving forward. All right, did I hear somebody who's trying to get my, yes, sir. All right. It has been properly moved and seconded that the recommendations of the Inter-District Banking Initiative and the committee's recommendations to you be accepted with the intent of giving them the authority to move forward. You've heard the motion, are ready for the question? I'm going to ask everybody in favor of the motion, please stand. All right. You can sit down now. All those opposed to the motion, you have the same privilege. All of those who don't even know what's going on, you can stand too. All right. It is so moved and you have been directed to move forward with the process. May I add to the possibilities, and that is, even though the money is banked in a separate bank, $50,000 is a little too much money in black folk thinking, that you just leave it there dormant, that you, CDs now are offering some wonderful 6-month to a year initiatives, incentives. And if you could just, I would think that if somebody wanted to make a motion to direct you, put that in a CD for a period of time, because you're not going to be using it right now, and you might as well get some money off of it. I recognize, the only reason I didn't recognize you is because you're on the board, so you got something to do with the money.
Instruct the CDC to park the money in a high interest bill account until
And I saw her first, and since I saw her first, go ahead. It has been properly moved and seconded that you direct the CDC board after this board has had a chance to do what it's supposed to do in orienting them of their responsibilities, that you direct the CDC board to place a $50,000 or therewith in a high interest yielding account at their discretion. You've heard the motion, ready for the question? All those in favor, let me know and say aye. Opposers, nay. Ayes have it, and so ordered. I am so happy for the second district. So, it's going to be hard to get somewhere else and be able to have to keep on saying, but second district, second in Illinois, second district. You have proven today and on so many different fronts that your mantra is not just a slogan, but you have every desire to be second to none. Thank you so very much. Thank the committee for your leadership. God bless you. Thank you, Dr. Reed. We did not want to leave here without having a short review of the multiple Lilly grants that we received. As we close out this year,